Listen, we're delighted to have with us the newly elected mayor of the city of Augusta, Georgia, Mr. Mayor Garnett Johnson. How you do, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Listen, we just had to bring you in because, listen, the election is over and things are moving pretty fast. What does a mayor do between in Georgia that when they're elected in May? Is it May or June?
It's in the runoff is June 21st.
June 21st. What do you do between June and being installed in January? What does an mayor-elect do?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot of things. You know, initially when I was running, I was concerned about the amount of lag time in between the election and actually assuming office. But, you know, it's come out as a blessing in that there are so many things to get done. Okay. For instance, hiring a staff, having conversations about what our office is going to look like. Okay. And additionally, I'm a small business owner. Right. So talking about how I transitioned away from being a small business owner to mayor. Mm-hmm. So this has been a welcoming time to really get some things done. Well,
and like I said, you've been at it for a while. For some folk who just may not know, give us a little brief background.
Yeah, so I'm a lifelong Augusta resident, born and raised down in East Augusta. I tell people the son of a bus driver and a truck driver. I went to the school called Sandbar Ferry Elementary School, ended up graduating from Butler because my mother saw me, you know, heading in a wayward path.
I kept hearing that story.
Heading in a wayward path, and I was just so fortunate to have that two-parent upbringing, but primarily raised by a mother. My dad was a long-distance truck driver, hardly ever home, and I love this community. Mm-hmm. I started my collegiate career at Georgia Southern and failed miserably, but I met the love of my life, Tony Seals Johnson. Ended up graduating from Augusta University with a degree in business as a non-traditional student. Worked full-time and went to school full-time. And I attribute that to me being who I am. Okay, good. And I'm sure that's going to help you when it comes to being our mayor. So we're grateful for all that background like that. But what about, like, I understand you're still hitting the streets as far as making appointments. People want you here and there. How does that work? Yeah, it's been busy to say the least. You know, a lot of people say the campaign is over. You ought to slow down a little bit. But that's just that's who I am. You know, I believe in really being engaged in the community. And a lot of people didn't think so because during the campaign, they really didn't know who Garnett Johnson was. Right. And, you know, I tell everybody that was intentional on my part in that I'm more of a doer than a talker. I tend to try to be behind the scenes more than being out front. But as your mayor, I promise to always be engaged throughout the community, no matter where you are. I love engaging and helping where I can, and that's only going to be a continuation of that. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to what's going to happen. We're with the great expectations. We're looking forward to that for sure. But I want you to hang around for a minute because I want to talk about. I hear this term in politics all the time. The first 100 days. Yes. Let's talk about that when we come back. I would love it. All right. Thank you. Listen, we had to keep the mayor-elect around because I'm just interested in between the lag time. I wanted to know what happens or what are your plans for the first 100 days as being the mayor of Augusta? Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it in that, you know, on the campaign trail, I pledged three things: to provide some growth to the city, to be actionable not only to the citizens but to the taxpayers, and be a results-oriented person. One of the first things I want to accomplish is just cleaning the city up. As you know, we have a serious litter problem all across our city, and I want to create a robust Keep It Clean campaign that actually adds some teeth to the enforcement of how we potentially punish those who throw trash out in our roadways. Right. I believe it's important to add some accountability to our government. There's a conversation I'm hearing a lot about who's actually accountable to the taxpayer. At a time like this when inflation still continues to be high, unemployment is relatively low, but as you know, inflation is really digging into the pockets of a lot of our seniors. We need somebody who's accountable to the use of our tax dollars to make sure that we stand on their side. Right. And that would be new. And how do you do that? I guess you've been in business practically all your life. How do you build those coalitions to get those 6 votes to make that happen? Sure. I think at a time like this is needed, and as I was running on the campaign trail, that was the #1 issue, especially among a lot of our seniors. Right. Mr. Johnson, I don't get but so many dollars a month. My tax assessments have gone up. How do I continue to survive? The cost of medicine has gone up. So that resonated with me. You know, if you look at other communities, how the state of Georgia's performed, there's no reason we shouldn't show some fiscal accountability to what we spend. And I think we need to do a better job on our part. On the government's part. On the government's part. Absolutely. That's a conversation that's not been had in a while around Augusta. Right.
I agree.
And,
I agree.
So that's what I tend to focus on. Maybe on the expense side to see where there's opportunities for us to give a little back to the taxpayers of Augusta Richmond County.
And you made that vow too, and you've almost lived up to it already about South Augusta. You've
Yes.
been doing those Friday night things, and listen, with thousands of folks showing up.
Thousands of folks. We call it the Family Friday Food Truck Wind Down, and we can't be more excited. Every third Friday, so you got to get out and see it. It's something amazing.
I got to see that. Yeah.
Please come out and see it.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, we want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And listen, we're here for you. You need to get a message out. That's what we do. And we're community minded here as well to make sure we get the best for our community. We deserve the best. Let me touch on one more subject, and I know our time is kind of winding. We're dealing with this violence around here, and I think if we can see men like yourself and others that step into the front, I think that impression helps young men to come off of the streets to do the right thing.
It does, and I've always said that this is a problem that within our community we have to solve. We can't let the teachers, we can't let the principals, we can't let anybody solve this problem but our community. And just know that I'm going to be out front to help address the issue, to have the conversation about how we can do better in this community.
Well, we know you will. Like I said, we're impressed with the campaign, impressed with everything. We're just looking for great things.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and look forward to coming back again.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.